Hi there and welcome to our channel. My name is Cynthia Wakio, the Communication and Events Manager at Corporate Staffing Services. And today we're going to be discussing how you can conduct a thorough reference check when you're hiring. I'm joined by Paminas, who is going to be taking us through this discussion. Karibu sana, Paminas.
Thank you, Cynthia.
So as a recruiter for a very long time, reference checks are very important when it comes to the recruitment process. What specific information should one aim to gather when doing a reference check?
So when you think about the recruitment process, it's not enough for you to advertise, shortlist, interview, and even get a candidate. I would say the process, for myself, I consider the process to have been done when now I'm able to do proper reference check on, let's say, you Cynthia, and be able to ascertain indeed Cynthia is who she's saying she is. So when it comes to reference check, there are two things that I would pay attention to.
Yeah.
Number one is the competence and the character. So competence, when you talk about competence, does this person have the education, the skills, and the experience that's on their CV? Number two, despite someone being qualified, having the skills, I'm sure anyone who's been in management who supervise people, we've come across people who didn't want to hire, even if they are qualified for the job. And this is where the character comes in. As in, who is this person, at a personal level. Yeah. So a reference check, a thorough reference check should be able now to bring out those two things. Now, one, what is your competence? And number two, how is your character? Yeah.
Of course, there are people you're going to be asking, people who know this person, who have worked with them.
Yeah.
So when you're asking these questions, how do you ensure you ask the right questions in regards to the position you're hiring this person for?
So what I would advise managers or even recruiters such as ourselves is, number one, to come up with relevant questions. So some of them will be straightforward. For example, you'll ask education. You can ascertain the education, that is, you can go to where they used to school, be able to compare. And all these services, all these education institutions, for example, universities, NEC, they do offer that service. You'll have to pay a small fee for them to ascertain. Yeah. Then, so that is much easier because it's more straightforward. And nowadays, even for financial, if I want to know your creditworthiness, I can go and ask for CRB. Are you the person who normally takes loans and you don't pay? CRB will have all that information. Yeah. But now, in terms of character, this is where now it's very important, in the sense that don't call the HR manager or the company that they used to work for. In fact, don't call the people who are listed on the CV, because most likely we only list people who are going to give a good account of who we are. So the best way to approach it is come up with a set of questionnaire which are related to the job. So you can ask, how long did this person work with you? What were their major responsibilities? What were their strengths? What are their weaknesses? Is there any achievement they had? And a question that people always ask is, would you really hire this person? If they applied for a job or if they decided to come back, would you rehire this person? Or even you, if you have the need, would you approach this person? That's a crucial question. Yeah. So I would say then, when you come up with that set of questionnaire, send it to the company. So call and find out, oh, Cynthia used to work for Corporate Staffing Services. So do you have a HR? Can I send it directly to the HR? If HR is not there, who is the direct supervisor there? Because what you want is to get the real information. Because if it's the HR, even if the HR did not work with this person, there's a file with your data. It has your job description, it has your contract, it has your salary. If you are put on PIP, all that information is there. If you have warnings, if you have recommendation, if there's a bonus, if the salary review, all that information is there. Yeah. So I would say the company can provide you with more information as opposed to calling the people on the CV. Yeah. And sometimes even us, what we do here, an extra mile we go is, sometimes people leave for all manner of reasons. And maybe this person did not live very well, and the company just decides, oh, instead of having a fight with you, we just let you go. So sometimes you can just call this person and ask them, well, I've received your reference check, but is there something else? You don't want to tell me off the record.
Yeah.
And they'll tell you. They'll tell you, oh, okay, this person, they were 90% okay, but their temperament, They can get to be emotional, you know, and that will give you some insights, which you can now use to decide on whether to give this person an offer or not.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Following up what you mentioned, if you get a conflicting or negative feedback from the organization you're looking for the reference from, how should you handle that? How should you approach that?
For me, the way I look at it is, let's say I'm recruiting a manager, and this person, they are not at the start of their career. So they've worked for 4 or 5 employers. So if you have this one employer who's quite emotional, they go all out to say the way you should not hire John, whatever. And number one, they don't provide proof. Or number two, you can read in between the lines and say, wow, this is something personal. Because there are instances also where someone resigns and the boss or the company doesn't take it very well. Yeah. It's a reality, and anyone in HR or management knows that or needs to know. So for me, I'll look at, is there a track record? So if I've talked to 4 employers and 3 of them talk highly about you, but only this one has an issue, then, you know, I'll probably say it's personal. Exactly. Yeah, and then also remember, they are, apart from the direct, the reference check you get, you can go around it also. You can talk to people. So I can ask you, like, tell me, who did you work with? Yeah, apart from the direct supervisor or your, or even the HR manager. So that way I do an in-depth background check. Yeah, so it's not to say that, oh, you just assume that, oh, this manager has personal issues. No. If something comes up, it's good to, you know, you flag it. You can do a bit of research just to see whether it's personal or this person is being objective. Yeah.
And I think what I find is it can be time consuming in between. And that's why I think when us here at Corporate Staffing, we find that the recruiters will go above and beyond to ensure that you get the right candidate.
Yes, yes. You normally find, so 2 things. Sometimes when employers are hiring directly, you know, for themselves, there's always this urgency to really have this person on board. And what you forget to see is the risk ahead. So if you don't do reference check, you know, it's just like dating or when the relationship is new. Everyone wants to put a best, you know, they're in their best foot forward. Exactly. They want to show you their best side. So it's the same case when it comes to recruitment. So you could have taken 1 month, and I know some of these positions are urgent. You could have taken 1 month to advertise, shortlist, interview this person. So you settle on this, you're asking them, when are you going to join, because you need them as soon as possible. But assume they're not a good fit for the organization, or they've lied on their CV. Then you hire this person. Dismissal is always, it's always a messy affair. Yeah. So now you'll be forced now to dismiss this person and then start all over again. And whereas you'd have done this reference check, and maybe you find that this person is not suitable, and you go for number 2. Yeah. So for me, I look at it as it's not something to be casual about. Take time, and that's why even here at Corporate Staffing, one of the guarantees we give as part of our recruitment process is that you do in-depth background checks. And remember, when I talked about the questionnaire, we provide you with a questionnaire. We'll show you that this is the person we talked to in that company, this is their signature, this is their stamp, this is even the email trail. Such that if I'm recommending John or Cynthia, indeed, we've done all we could. I'm not saying they are not, you can't lose 1 or 2 things, but I can assure you that we'll already have done like 95%. Yeah.
Thank you so much for sharing with us those insights.
Asante sana.
Thank you for watching this video. If you'd like us to help you throughout your recruitment process to ensure you get the right candidate for your organization, including going through the reference checks to ensure that also you do not waste a lot of time and money replacing a candidate who you thought was a good fit and was not, we have left a link below about our recruitment process. Reach out to us and we'll be happy to help. Thank you for watching, and see you next time.